Hello, my loves. Amity Rose with you, certified hypnotherapist and transformation coach. Welcome. I'm always holding rocks when we do videos. So glad to have you here. Self-worth motivation for women. This is my ultimate passion to teach my clients because so many women have really low self-worth. And it's so sad. So it's one of my joys to get to work one-on-one with women and really to watch them blossom. And it's so subtle, especially when we work with hypnosis. When you're changing the programming in the subconscious mind and the worth is increasing and the confidence is increasing, they just start naturally making different choices and feeling better. And they pick this over that, and it's easy. And it's just one of my greatest joys is to watch these women really just start to believe in their own worth and how their life radically changes as a result. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to make this video for you in case self-worth is something that you struggle with. This video specifically is gonna be self-worth motivation for women who is who I love to work with. It's just ladies, I love you so much. I love being a woman. I love working with women. Let's get started. So the first idea that we have to look at is self-worth is where are you getting your worth from? So I know in American culture, a lot of us have been taught that our worth is connected to doing, our achievements, especially if you grew up in a family where that was nurtured, like that kind of patterning was created, like your worth is equal to your doing, your performance, your achieving. What you can do physically affects how much value that you're worth. And that whole way of thinking is completely wrong and toxic and destructive because your worth is just, it exists within you. The day you came to planet Earth, you were worthy upon arrival. So there isn't anything you have to do or change or be, it's there. And the problem is when we don't believe in it, when we don't see it, we act a certain way. So it's all an illusion, my friends, all a silly, silly illusion. You cannot not be worthy, but you can put on a set of sunglasses to where you're experiencing something out your eyes that appears like you're unworthy, but you can't actually change the worthiness that you exist. You can't take that away. It has never been based on your doing. You can't do something and then all of a sudden be less worthy. It just can't happen. You're worthy just existing. I really want you to understand that. So you do want to look at where your source of worthiness is attached to. If you don't already have a belief that you're worthy, just because you exist, then your worthiness is definitely connected to something. So is that somehow your performance? Is it an output? Is it a certain volume of something? If I do, 10 things each day, then worthy? Is it a job performance? Is it, it's just, you have to really find out what you've attached your worthiness to. And once you've found the source, I'm a doer, I'm a total doer and an overachiever. And for a while, my worth was attached to my doing. The more I did, the more volume I produced, the more valuable I felt. And once I untangled all that garbage, I'm still a doer. I'm naturally that way. I'm a go-getter, I'm driven. But what's different now is that I've untangled my worth and my action. They are parallel, they're not all tangled up into each other anymore. They just are. But I'm worthy just because I exist. I know that. I've solidified that into my being. And if I want to do all these other things, great. But in no way ever does me doing or not doing affect my worthiness in any shape or form. So really just get curious about what your worthiness is attached to. If you don't already know you're worthy, what is it attached to? Is it how you raise your kids? Is it if you have kids? Is it building a family, creating a business? We have these ideologies where we're not worthy until this, or this is the measurement of my worthiness. If I can create a successful business, then I'm worthy. No, you can create a successful business, but you already were worthy. You see, it's tricky because it's just like an entanglement, whereas nothing is entangled with the worth. The worth just is. And if you want to do all these other things like create a business or do things, that's great. But in no way are they connected. No way. So if you can kind of get that trickiness kind of worked out and really come to believe that your worthiness is just because you are, and this is the second step, is you've got to practice some sort of, I'll put it out there as meditation, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, sitting quietly, but it is a coming home to yourself. So a lot of times that is just sitting quiet with ourselves. So just being in your own presence, that is profoundly medicinal to the soul and also to the up-leveling of your worthiness. If you don't like you, nobody else is gonna like you. Like if you're unwilling to spend a few moments each day with yourself, why would somebody else wanna spend their time with you? Like everything has to come from the self. It always, always has to come from the self. So your worthiness will naturally grow the more time that you spend with yourself and get to know yourself. One thing that will really help, and I'm gonna make a video on this, is inner child healing. Because most of the time what happens when we come to sit with ourselves, all the shit we haven't wanted to deal with that we've like stuffed down, a lot of things that happened, like years ago, when you finally sit down and you're silent and you're really with yourself, it's like, oh my God, she's home. We gotta tell her about this trauma and this experience. We gotta process this, we gotta process that. And so it can feel overwhelming, right? So that's a lot of people will run away from meditation because they're like, oh my God, I can't do that. But all that does settle down over time, especially the more that you come to sit. And if you just lovingly welcome everything that comes up, like I see you, thank you, I see you. Eventually the noise gets a little bit, less loud in the mind. But it's really just the things that exist within you that you've been holding on to that are calling for your attention. And because you're always doing things, it doesn't have any space to come and be like, here, this happened, but we didn't process it. What do you want to do with it? So sitting with yourself is number one in meditation or in some kind of other form. And the next piece, you guys, which is super important in raising your self-worth or just self-worth motivation, is taking care of yourself. And if you guys haven't caught my importance of self-love video, you can check it out here. We go through this and it's it'll be really helpful, like in companion with this idea of taking care of the self. Again, if you don't like yourself, if you're unwilling to spend a couple minutes with yourself, if you're unwilling to take care of yourself, if you're unwilling to meet your own needs, well, that's kind of shitty. And who wants to take care of you, right? You. It's your responsibility. I'm just gonna say it. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself, okay? And when you do, actually, I've got another video on being a confident woman. That video talks all about trusting yourself because that is the birthplace of confidence. It's not about your clothes. It's not about how you look. A confident woman, a truly, truly confident woman is a woman who can trust herself. And that means trusting herself to meet her needs. Feed her when she's hungry, take a bath when she needs to, cry when she needs to. That is the birthplace of real, true confidence, and improving your self-worth and just self-worth motivation for any woman is taking care of yourself. So that means being in tune with yourself enough to listen to your needs. And that's gonna be connected to the fourth idea, which is having healthy boundaries. Because a lot of times, back to number one, if our worth is kind of entangled in our doing, especially if we're a caretaker in any way, if we have children or parents or someone that we're caring for, the boundaries can be pretty fluid and we don't quite know where we need to stop and take care of ourselves and honor that. And rather we just say yes and continue to go, go, go. So that can be a really messy situation as far as self-worth and healthy boundaries go. So I would also look at where your boundaries are connected to where your self-worth is connected to as well. But if we're talking about trusting yourself to take care of yourself, that is going to improve your self-worth every time you make a choice when you choose you. So if you are in the middle of something and you can feel like, I'm hungry. I need to feed myself. How many times do you not listen and you ignore that and then you just keep pushing forward and then eventually get around to feeding yourself? Like, that's not really putting your self-worth as a priority. Because if you did value yourself, you would hear that or feel that intuitive hit on I'm hungry, I need to eat, and you would pause what you're doing to the best of your ability and you would nourish yourself. So it's things like that, taking care of yourself in a regular way, right? Cleaning yourself when you need to, buying products that you love for yourself, journaling and crying when you need to, calling a friend when you need to. Like, that honoring will really subtly increase your self-worth. Because every time you do that, you're telling yourself, like, I can trust you. I can trust you to take care of me. I can trust you to listen to my hunger signals and feed me when I need food. I can trust you to cry and release tears when I let you know that we have something to be processed and released. Like, it's a trust relationship with yourself. That builds self-worth. If you know that you can trust yourself, that increases your confidence, increases your value, and increases your self-worth. So if you can just know that you're worthy outright, and then you can do things to take care of yourself, to let yourself know that I'm here, you can trust me, I'm gonna take care of you. And then untangle, what your worth is currently connected to. And that's really a recipe for self-worth motivation for women. If you bring those 3 things into your life right now, and check out those other 2 videos I mentioned about self-love and being a confident woman, those will really, really help you along the way to feel more confident and feel more worthy in who you are, because it is a bit tricky. We've associated our worthiness with what we do, and that can get a little bit messy. But as soon as you untangle that and just know your worthiness it exists, and then when you start really taking care of yourself in small ways, feed yourself when you're hungry, those actions will start to add up, and you'll really, really begin to feel a sense of, I belong here, I'm worthy of whatever I desire. And then sky's the limit, because when you feel good, when you love yourself, when you feel worthy, that's the world you create, and that's what you attract. So it's gonna be a really fun ride for you. This is really at the root of so many things. And if you didn't catch last week's video on toxic money wounds, you can catch it here. I do mention about the worthiness wound, about not feeling worthiness. So it affects every facet of our life, our relationships, our money, our career, the way we respond, the way we act, our self-talk. Like, nothing is not affected by self-worth. And if you have a low self-worth, it is my recommendation that you put in the work to change that. And I'm here along the way. If you're interested in becoming a client or want to book a session with me, you can get the info on the website. I am honored to support you on your healing journey, and I will see you next week.